Okay, so before everything went insane, we were looking at how to add fonts. So that was a question asked by Bashda. So Bashda actually wanted to know how we add fonts to our app. In this situation, I tried it via Phprad, and we are getting some issues, not really, but we are going to try and add a custom view, custom edits. So you go to Google Fonts, it's going to be to a place like this. You can actually browse the fonts you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one font real quick so that you can actually see how it functions. So yeah, you just need to view the font you want. So you can see I had already made this. So let me see which one you're going to add, something that you can see clearly. Just look for the font you want from all this list of fonts. Maybe you can use this one, almost. You can use it. Okay, so once you click on it, it's just going to bring you to, just going to give you an option where you just add it to the list of the fonts you have. So as you can see, I already have these fonts here. Now, this Montserrat, add this style. Just that. Once you click on it, it's just going to add it to the embed list here. So we have the embed list here. You copy this, the Montserrat link. Copy this. And now you need to go to your app. I'm just going to get to my app. So I just need to go to your app here. To apps here. You need to view and then to send mail. This is where you have the CSS, some PHP, few pages too. Okay, so now each of them is the layer just add the editor. You can copy it out here. So we need it to be outside there. Copy, paste it. And then one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this out here. So you can actually do a period inside, but pretty much the trick for me, I'm just going to add here. So I'm going to do the H1, H2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I'm going to do a paragraph. Okay, so what this means is that since we have added this style, now the rule is CSS is just going to go inside. Now you cannot choose what you want. We actually want to do the Montserrat. Just do the Montserrat. Just open and paste somewhere inside here. So whenever we actually made that happen, so that will be here. And save your work. Save it. We need to load our work. Okay, so there we go. We successfully added our font to Phprad project. So I really hope this one really answered your question, Bashda, if you're watching. I really hope this one answered your question. So moving on, somebody else had a question they needed us to tackle. You can send it down there. I see it because I can't really see the other ones that we did. So yeah, kindly send it down there, then we can actually dive into your question easily. So yeah, everything else will be in that font as we looked at earlier. So but because we did this manually, whenever we relearn our project, we are going to lose the progress. So kindly let me know your question there, and let me look at it. I have roughly 30 minutes before I switch off the stream, so we can look at your questions before that minute. it's all over. Okay, now moving on, let's look at something else before you post your questions. And I feel like this is also something that you should look at maybe from now and then, and that involves the new added features and other stuff. The main question with people was how do I do dynamic search and stuff like that. Now, how you do a dynamic search, this should be easy if you have explored this area. A dynamic search, you just come here and you select the type of search you want. So the search type would be page, and you can do the Ajax drop down or an Ajax page. So when you do an Ajax drop down, what this does is that you the results immediately in a drop down. Now let's see here. So as you can see, it's just an empty field. You just need to type whatever you want. It's going to tell you no record found. What if you do a group? It's going to give you the available groups. So as you can see, we have that. Now that's something we have covered. Kindly let me know anything you might need us to look at. Now another thing I might need to explain real quick. This is something I had problems with earlier working on different projects, and that is with the page events. Okay, now the page events, now how you do this is with the page events you actually get the option to add a record to a certain record without maybe update a certain record or stuff like that, or maybe insert. Now let's say you're doing this after registration. We can do after. Now maybe you might need to insert something here. Okay, so let's say you want to insert to a certain table, and you have the value, and you have this field and this field. So whenever you're registering to a user, it's not going to work unless you use the record ID, because normally how we would do that will be with this method. Then you might need to add the user ID there. So this is not going to work. The reason being is that the ID has to be already created for it to be inserted. Whenever you're creating the user, it's creating the ID as it's creating the user. So there's no way it's going to add the user immediately to another field. How we handle that is using this method. As you can see, it's pretty much explained. Here. The record ID, this one, just newly created record. So what happens is that just notifies that a certain record has been created, so it inserts that record as it's inserting the other records automatically. So you get to insert your records easily. So yeah, that's easy. Okay, so yeah, another thing I like using the most, and I find myself using the most, is the user, and maybe the user ID, and maybe master relationship tables. So let me explain how we do that. Now you might find yourself in a situation where you want the groups here and the schedule to record who actually made that record, and how you might do that is maybe doing the posted by here. Posted by. Okay, now one more trick. If you just create the posted by, and okay, let me just explain here. If you need to add a new record here, probabilities are that whenever you click save and you have added something here, it's not going to save. So how you do it is you add more records, then you type your stuff here, then you click on this record here, the empty field. We have issues here. Maybe you add something here, then you click on the empty field here, and then you click save. That way it's going to save. So that's why I'm adding more records here. So you save that. So we are working with the posted by. So what we want to do with this, we want this to actually let us know that who is going to add that field, and maybe who can see it. So for the schedule, we have the posted by. Okay, so how we do this, we want this to be okay, we want it to be a text box. Then the default value here, you can actually select whichever you want. We have the username, we have the user ID. But how we do this is we want this to hold the name of the user that is actually logged in at that particular time. For that to happen, we need to make user authentication. So for this situation, we need to make this user authentication. But so that we don't keep on doing the same thing over and over again, I'm just going to create something. Kindly let me know what you need me to tackle and we'll do it so that I don't keep doing my own thing over and over again. Okay, so posted by, yeah. We will just go here, and I want to create a user before doing anything else. I want to create a user, and let me just remove the. Okay, or we can just use it instead. Let's go to users. Let's try and register a user here. Let's try and register a user. Okay, child. Do I have a child? No. Okay, this child. Now we need to enter the password. Then you can see we have our confirm there. Now we just need to use this bm7wa. We need to submit that. So we have a user now. Okay, one of the reasons why we might not be able to error 500. Why are we having an error 500? I have no idea why we're having an error 500. But we have that. So let me just remove this. I don't feel like I like it that much. It was just for explaining. Move the capture, and let's make the authentication here. We're using the users, and username, we have the username, the password, we have the password ID, we have that, and we have that. So we don't have the email. And okay, let's save that. Can you show dynamic roles and permission? Yeah, sure. Let me show you dynamic roles and permissions. Let's save this. So for dynamic roles and permission, we have to do something different. So we're using our home. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that was a password. I don't really remember. All right, so there we go. We have our user, our home, logged into the project now. Okay. So I'm going to show you, Rodrigo. I will be explaining how to use dynamic roles and permission, yes, and also going to give you one reason why you should not use it in this version of Phprad. So yeah, let me do that. So somebody remind me why I was making this one. So yeah, I want to show you how whenever you're making a schedule here, I want to show you what our stuff is going to do, the posted by here. So this posted by. So let me just edit this real quick so that don't have this unnecessary stuff. Click on a variable. Also want it to be, yeah, that's it. Now for the posted by, I want this to be a text box, text field, yeah, or we can make it hidden or just text field. Then we can do the Phprad, we can do the user ID here. Phprad has that option to do. Does it have the user ID or whatever? I don't know. Yeah, I guess we can do the user ID. Okay, let's see if that working right. Don't have that much of hope. Yeah, so there we go. We have the ID of that user. But whenever we save this, let's say, let's make a new group, call this group B, and let's call it maybe from 15 years of age to 17 years of age. We submit that. Okay, now so as you can see, we have the ID here instead of the username. Now this is where master relationship tables comes in. For the schedule, I will need to change this from icons to drop down. Change that from icon to drop down. Now on the add page, I'm going to remove the submit button. Remove the submit button, and we should have something looking good. We should have something looking good here. So yeah, we are making a schedule. So as you can see, we have everything looking all good. Now let's go back and show you how we're going to use the dynamic roles and the master relationship table. So as you can see, this one was posted by the user with the ID 1. So master relationship tables comes in right about here. Now you need to go to the RIS page, go to where you are working with, go to whatever you're working with, which is the posted by, and you're going to set a relationship table. Okay, now watch carefully. So you see we're using the table schedule, which is the table field posted by. Now we need to use the users table. Okay, mark that, and we are going to use the ID there. Now you can set how you want it to appear, either as a popover, as an inline, or as a modal. So then you're going to use, instead of the ID, now we are going to mask it with the name of that user. So let's mask that with the name of that user. Now here, the details properties, they allow you to determine how do I set this, or how do I say this? They allow you to determine what you're going to see. Are you going to be able to list view on that page? Are you going to be able to add on that page or not? Then you can also select the fields that you want to add from that page, and that's it. You save that and you preview, and this should generally give us the name of that user. So there we go, we have the name of that user, which is Wahome. As you can see, we can actually see the details of that user from here. Okay, and they can also allow you to add and view details about that user from here. Okay, so that's it. Now your question, Rodrigo, was can you show dynamic roles and permissions? Okay, so let me show you how we do this. How we managed to do this is to come to user records here, not user records, roles and permissions. Now for this, you need to manage the tables that are going to handle that. Okay, so the user role ID. So what this means, if you have not made a table in your users table that has the name of that role, let me stop complicating things and let me show you how we are going to do this, because Phprad just automatically generates that. Let's come here and let's go to users, and let's add a field and call field roles. Let's make roles there, and let's save that. Alright, so we have the table roles and other roles in the user registers. In the user register, we can make these as select, and we will need to make user admin. Okay, so we have those two. Make sure you know the capitalization, you mark the capitalizations. So we have that, and also that's going to also be added in the add page here. To come here and say user and admin. Save that. Now let's review this and see if we actually have this working now. Now let's go to users. Let's see what we have. So we have the roles already working here. So we have using the admin. Now let's go back to roles and permissions. For this to work, you need to check that as a dynamic role and you need to manage tables. So set field name for users table. So this is going to be the table field that is handling the roles inside your users table, the one we made here, which is the table field we made the roles table field. All right. Just leave them as they are. They are going to be automatically created by Phprad, and save that. So we have the administrator here. We can just delete that, and add a new role and call it. Remember the capitalization. Okay, add a new role. Remember the capitalization. User. Okay, now for the admin, you need to check everything here. For the admin, for the user, we might need to just allow them to view the groups, and maybe yeah, just view the groups, and the schedule, just view it, don't add it. But anyway, this should not be much of a worry because you will be able to add this dynamically without having to do this. Alright, so save that. So generally, we just created a few more tables. Let's see how those tables with us now. Undefined index roles in roles. Okay, we have roles, role name array, roles and permissions. This should be fine. Should be fine. Okay. Role name, role ID. Okay. I see. So this should be this table. It should be the roles table. So the table that's supposed to be created. As you can see, we created two tables were created here. So yeah, that's it actually. I don't see any problem with that. But Phprad seems to have a problem with it. Define index roles in. Yeah, generally this means that that table field does not is not available in that page. Why would that be? Role is available here. Quick question is, was it really added on the add page? The users, they have roles on the account register, on the account add. Roles are everywhere. All right, so let's do this. Okay, published is true. Let's see if we get that fixed. All right, so we're still having a problem, and yeah, the reason why we're having that problem is because this user doesn't have a role, so we might need to set that role for him. Set that to admin and update it. So there we go. We solved that real quick. So yeah, as you can see, we have this user. So now he's admin. Maybe you might need to edit that to user and see the stuff is that. So there we go. As you can see, everything changed also. So that's dynamic. Now let me dive deeper into that. So dynamic roles means that you'll be able to do all the stuff on your end and add new users, new user classes, and all that stuff. So we do that by adding a role here. So you come here and add a new role. Let's call this role maybe teacher. You can call that role teacher. Okay, then you go ahead and create the role permission for that user, and you do that by adding it from here, the role ID, the role name, and the role action. But as you can see, we don't have that. So what you do, you make lookup tables for that. You go to role, go here, and go to the role ID. You're going to set that as a select. Then you're going to go to that table, the roles table here. We are using the roles table. Then note here carefully, the lookup field value will be the ID, but we don't want the ID to be listed in the dropdown. So we are going to mask the ID. We are going to mask the ID with the role name. Then you're also going to order it with the role name. Doesn't really matter from here. So go to the page name. Now the page name, note this. You see we have the page name and the page action. So these are going to look themselves up. So these tables, these fields are going to look themselves up. So what do I mean by looking themselves up? You're going to select here, and you're going to use this same table, the roles table, the role permissions table. You're going to use it, and we are going to use the page name ordered by page name. So as you can see, the tables are looking themselves up. So yeah, let's go ahead and do something else, which is role permissions. And we need the action table, the action name, and action name. And we are also going to just use the action name. And let's do that now. Okay, so now you see we have the roles. As you can see, we have that. Now, as you can see now, we have the tables that they can actually add here. And we have the action, edit, delete, add, account view, and user register. Right. So that's generally it. Now, the next thing you might need to do is what actually do you see from here? Like permission ID, we're seeing it as an ID. The role ID, we're seeing it as an ID. So you will need to make a master relationship table here. The role ID, just like we did it earlier, you're going to set the relationship here. Remember, you're using the so for this case, you're using the roles. You're using the roles for this case. And then you're going to use the ID. Then you're going to mask it with the role name. Let's preview that. So yeah, there we go. We have this. Now let's try and make a new role. We made a role called teacher. We made a new role called teacher. We need to make a role permission for that so that you can actually see it's working. And the role ID will be the teacher. The page name they can actually edit is a groups. And what do you say? They can only view that group. So let's submit that. All right, now let's go ahead and go to my account, and then I'll switch from user admin and go to teacher here. Update that. So we actually would really allow the user to see. Okay, let's just go back to admin and we can edit that. So this is how you allow users to you allow the admin to add users from inside the app without having to do the stack additions and all that stuff. So we need to allow the teacher to list that table first. Groups, we need to allow them to list it. Okay. Let's go back here, go to my account. edit this and go to teacher update. So there we go. We can see the groups, and they can only be able to view that group. So remember to save your project. Don't ever forget that. Now, so your question was, I hope I have answered your question on dynamic roles. No, your next question was, can we have an on-screen database notifications? Like, for example, show a toast when another user inserts a record, like use in the new incoming email in Outlook. Yeah. I actually did that. Rodrigo, kindly let me know. Are you in the course? Because if you are in the course, we don't really have to repeat this again because we have to do a lot of customizations with Ajax. In the course, I did a project with that. It's actually there with a notification, instant notification that you have added it. I also made a chart for that, so you can actually chat with a Phprad project. If you are in the course, there's a video I've added there. I guess you're in the course. Yeah, Rodrigo, can you hear me? I did that with Ajax, which we have to do too much customizations here, and time is not really on my side, man, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess my minute is over, but before I do that, let me see if something else I can look at. So the record timestamps, I think you have also looked at it. So this just lets you know when that record was added, when that record was edited, when that record was deleted. You just apply to every table you have and it's going to add it. Then the soft delete. Now this is something that creates too much controversy here. The soft delete just allows you to do some stuff. So as you can see, the date created was added to all the tables. Timestamps were added to all the tables. So you don't have to add these manually. You can't even see them. You can't even see them here on the list page, on the add page. They're not highlighted because they're added automatically. So now the soft record delete, now what they do is that they allow you to flag details. Now let's say you want to allow users to delete a field and they can no longer see that field, but it's still existing in the database. So that's what soft delete is. So let's say you add your name here and maybe you delete it, so it stops appearing on your app, but it's still appearing on your database. So that's what soft delete does. So you can set it for all the tables you want here. So the flag name, you can just set it is deleted, delete at field name. Maybe select the field name you want it to delete. Then the flag value is just the value that you want it to replace it with, so that it no longer appears there. So that's what soft delete does. And yeah, audit trial is something that has been there for a while now. This just allows you to create list of what record was made, which query was executed, server ID of that user, and all that stuff. So yeah, you can also log failed actions, log location. You can just decide how do you want it. You can get it in the file. You can also get it in email. So this is something that also added in the new version. Okay, so that's it. Now what else might I look at? So for the helpers, now these are some stuff you might need to use here. Okay, I'll search for it. Okay, yeah, Rodrigo, you should check it out in the course. Yeah, now let me just show you one more thing before I call it a day. Phprad allows you to use curl and other stuff. So curl, they just use it to, you can get a certain field or a certain page inside your app using the curl function. So Phprad has a method for that, and so we have the HTTP post method and also the HTTP get method. So this one will allow you to get certain pages or websites and all that stuff. So okay, so you might need to retrieve content from a website, certain website. You might need to copy that. So these are many of the stuff you might need to check out. And I feel like since today time is not my side and I had promised you guys a stream, I'll have to do another stream whereby I'll be looking at more of these functions, set flash, random color, characters, date, time, all that stuff. So in this case, let me just show you how we can actually work with this. You need to go to home here, drop a new custom view right about here. Let's make a new stuff. Drop that, drop 12. Okay, now I need to do PHP yeah, you can decide on what you're going to do, make it look like all how you want it to be. Anyways, that's really up to you. And so you might need to add some stuff in here, which will be something like so. Let's see. All right. Too bad. You're echoing that out. Too bad. Wrong. So you can always try the post and the get and all that stuff. So yeah, let's try and do it from here. Excuse me. Okay, let me try and log in from this end. Okay, so let's try. Don't worry about this button here, just with the CSS we made earlier. Okay, so it seems like my internet is want to just misbehave again like it did earlier. So generally that's basically how you do this. Generally how you do this, yeah, should work now. You can use a post method or a get method here to get the content of that website. So yeah, let's try the other method. So this is how you use the global, what do you call them? The helpers variables and the methods. So we can try and get that website with this method right here. Google.com. So we have that. We have that. Okay, for some reason it's not really working, but not to worry, not to worry. So generally, normally we don't really use this a lot. It will really come in handy whenever you are making this and whenever you need to add more APIs to your application and all that stuff. And let's say, how do we explain this? Let's say maybe you need to add an API to your apps. Now, we have an endpoint for that, and it's not really viewable here. It's more of like used in the controllers. So we have our API controller here. Now, whenever you make a an API, you just need to access it via this API slash. You can access it via API, then you need to put a slash where your website is, or maybe the function that is handling that. So it's pretty much easy. So that's where we use most of the get and most of the posts. All right. I think I feel like my time is over now, and I'll be doing a stream tomorrow. I'm not really sure. I can't really promise. I'll be doing a stream tomorrow, or rather, I'll make a video because I figured most of the streams here are not being saved on YouTube. So maybe this stream might get lost somewhere. So I might make a free video, and my intention here was to make a swimming app. Alright, so I'll continue this app as a side project or a freebie for the guys who are using it tomorrow, who will be joining in tomorrow, and it will be available for free here on YouTube. So also kindly, if you are in the stream, we have two guys currently in the stream. You can get access to the course at a discount of $9. That's basically $10. So you can get it for $30 easily, and maybe learn more from that. And I feel like most of the guys are complaining, oh, it's too expensive, it's too expensive. But the reason why the cost is $39 is because I figured that Phprad is releasing new updates and new bugs every day, day in, day out, and I don't want the guys in the course to feel like, okay, I'm learning outdated stuff. So the reason why the course is $39 is because I'll be adding more videos there in case a new feature is added in Phprad. I can look at it there. Also add more videos in there instead of making new courses over and over again. Then I keep selling it to you guys, because you see, at the end of the day, my main issue here is not earning from that. My main issue here is making everybody comfortable with Php. That's why I'm not making different courses and selling them. That's why I'm selling it as a full package. So yeah, tomorrow guys, hopefully God willing, we'll be doing the helpers. I feel like we need to do more of the helpers. Okay, we'll do more of the helpers, and yeah, we try and do some custom stuff. We'll try and do this custom stuff here so that we can actually make what do you call it, maybe customized invoices and maybe customized tables and appearances and all that stuff. So yeah, also current let me show you one more thing before I close it. This the guys who are in the course and you don't have this app, let me show you the app I'm talking about. If you're in the course and you don't have this application, let me know so that I can share it with you for learning purposes. I don't even know which one works. I made it earlier. So you have to keep backing up your apps, because the stuff they have not really fixed up here. I don't know, is it this one? Right, so that one is a collapsed file. Okay, let me see. Team up. Right. Okay, let me see where we have that. That backup. Also not that. Airtime All right, so we have this app, and it's in capital letters. I wasn't seeing it. So what this app does is it allows you to it has all the features and all the codes and all the customizations we have done in the course, and most importantly, it has some plugins that you might like. So let it load and you can see what I'm talking about. Actually, created code in project so that you don't have to keep only falling back to the course to do your work. You can just copy it from this app directly. So as you can see, we have auto save data here. So what this does is that it saves this data every few seconds you type, so that you don't lose your work, maybe in case of power outage or stuff like that. So you can see it's saved as draft. So whenever you type more, whenever you keep on typing more, it keeps on saving your work. It keeps on saving your work. All right. So it gives you an alert here that your project has been saved. As you can see, it just appeared, and you can publish this. So whenever you publish it, it saves it in your application, and we have how it's made. So how it's made, it just generally gives you all the code that was used in that app, right? So all you have to do is just copy this app and paste it in your app whenever you need to use it. Now we also have another one here, which is what do you call it? This is just a calendar. You can use it to schedule your maps, your appointments. Maybe you're making an appointments app, you can use it to schedule it, and it just allows you to make some cool stuff here. You can view it weekly. You can view this plugin daily, or you can just list all the stuff that you need it to be here. So generally an event is there for all the lists. So this monthly. You can also get how it's made from. You get how it's made from this stuff here. Okay. So all you need to do is you need to edit your codes here and get it right. Right. So we might need to view this in a browser. We need to view it in a browser. So yeah. Now for the third mail here, we are using an API called PHP. It's also inside here. Using an API called PHP, and you also get how it's done. You get the gateway. So this is a gateway. You also get how it's done here for sending emails. So you have SMTP servers. You also do it that way. And we have more. You can get the more here, and we have the categories here. So this is just easy stuff you can do to have everything working right and perfect. You can also get how it's done here. So this is just generally updating your tables. So now the question is, where do I add this code? Now whenever you get this code, you can decide to copy this code here up to there, copy it, and then you'll need to add it in the page events wherever you want it to go, somewhere like this. Wherever you want it to go. Wherever you want it to go, you just copy it and you save it. Now we have the Jquery customizations here. We have dependent tables, we have dates, we have JSON data, we have character counters, we have different stuff. So generally everything that is here has highlighted code, so that if you need to make a project and you might need some of the stuff that is made inside this application, you just need to copy this. Okay, so this is just quick stuff. Now for the Jquery, now for this you will have to copy them somewhere else. So the character counter is just your characters to 100 until as you can see, it's counting here. Whenever 100 characters are reached, you can type it. All right. Now for the Jquery customizations, you do these customizations inside the client events. You can do them via custom JS here. So what you do is copy this, then you're going to go to the place where you need to add that, go to client events here, and you're going to paste your details there. Okay. All right. So we open this here is because we have the Phprad Gantt chart that doesn't appear there. So this is a Gantt chart. You also get the code to this Gantt chart. make stuff with this. You also get how it's made from here. So this is how it's made, and yeah, we have that. So we have dependent tables here, all this stuff. You can try dependent table, then you can actually see how it's done here. Okay, you can also see the rankings. Now the rank, these are just in Phprad, just quick stuff. We have the PHP customizations here. So these customizations, you just need to just make this and just copy this. So for the PHP customizations, you do this in the what do you call it, the page events here, or you can make them from these actions here, action after add or action before add. So you just need to get your code right and put it where you want it to be. So this is just generating random characters. You can actually do that with Phprad. You can also, with this few line code, you just copy them and you add them wherever you want, maybe before add or after add, doesn't really matter. Just Control V here and just copy it wherever you want. Now the best part with this project is that it comes with the latest theme that I'm giving out here. Which whenever you add it to your project, just generates automatically to your app. So generally that's it, guys, and so I'll see you tomorrow when I'm making the new stream. In case of anything, just let me know. Also, if you need to some clarifications with the course, let me know. If you also need me to help you do some projects, also let me know. And that will be it for the stream, guys, and see you in the next one. So in case we close, any questions, please. Before we close, just feel free to ask one more question and then close the stream.